Hi and welcome to this channel. My name is Debbie, and today I have two guests with me. They will be sharing their Mastercard Foundation Scholarship Application interview process. Please welcome with me Ayomide and Olatomide. Ayomide is a nutritionist and a University of British Columbia 2025 Mastercard Foundation Scholar. He graduated from the University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, popularly known as FUNAB, where he studied nutrition and dietetics, and he is currently pursuing a Master of Food Science at the University of British Columbia. So he is the founder of our Dietline and co-founder of Foodimetric. I will leave it to him to tell us more about himself when he comes on. And we have Olatomide Ojajune. She is a climate educator and founder of Talk Climate Africa. She has a bachelor's in forestry and wood technology from the Federal University of Technology, Akure. And she's currently studying the Masters of Sustainable Forest Management at the University of British Columbia. She's also an author, but then I will leave it to her to walk us through all of that when she introduces herself. I will pass it now to Ayomide. Briefly introduce yourself. Tell us what you're currently doing, how long you've been in Vancouver.
Thank you very much. Good day, everyone. My name is Ayomide Ademola, and I'm a nutritionist. I'm also a data analyst, and I also enjoy speaking, of course. And one of the reasons why I like what I'm doing right now. I graduated from FUNAP, like that has been stated earlier, and I'm currently pursuing Master of Food Science. And I co-founded Foodimetric in 2023, during my final year in the university. And I also started our diet line in 2019, and we've been doing a lot of community nutrition activities and engagement, organizing a lot of webinars. You can see some of them online for more information. Like Foodimetric, you can visit www.foodimetric.com to have more of that details. Thank you.
Thank you for that introduction. I'll pass it on to Olatomide to introduce herself.
Thank you so much, Debbie, for having me here today. My name is Olatomide, and I had a bachelor's degree in forestry and wood technology at the University of Technology, Akure in 2019. Over the past 6 years, my passion deviated from forestry, and I found myself into climate education. I think that started when I volunteered in 2019 with World Largest Lesson, talking to community school on the SDGs. And we know we have 17 SDGs, and I found climate action as SDG that stood out and nobody was talking about it. And I developed interest in educating people about climate change. From there, I volunteered with organizations and then noticed everyone was doing renewable energy. They were going into the solution aspect, and people don't really know the issue on ground. They don't know what they are facing. And I took it upon myself to make climate change very relatable. I started going to school, teaching children on climate change, teaching them on circular economy. And along the line, I was like, okay, you are teaching those people, but they still don't really understand this. This is not the solution aspect. And I went for that, like, let me write a book that actually break down these things into simple terminologies, using things they love like food, fashion, and communicate climate change better. And aside doing this, I also served with Saucy Vibe as their project steering committee member for their Balvas NG project in collaboration with Germany Embassy. And that also made me know that a lot needs to be done when it comes to awareness and education. And after that 6 to 7 years, I found myself returning back to school to study sustainable forest management, which is actually funny. And I'm trying to bring them back to the environmental sustainability aspect, and I'm looking for how it goes. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sharing. So one thing I found that both of you had was you were involved in community service before you got the scholarship. And even now, after getting the scholarship, you're still doing those things that you're passionate about, which speaks well to why you deserve to get that scholarship in the first place. So I want to applaud that, and I wanted to highlight that for intending scholars as well. You need to be doing something that you love to do, because while you are enrolled in the scholarship, even after the scholarship, it's something that you will continue to do. Maybe then you upskill it. That's really good. So while we are talking about your Mastercard Foundation Scholarship, as that was how you were able to come study at the University of British Columbia. I'll stay with you, Olatomide. Can you walk us through your full scholarship application process from the very first stage to where you received the offer?
All right. Thank you for that question. My scholarship application is just like a journey, and it started in 2019. A lot of my people that we graduated together got scholarship like Erasmus, Commonwealth, and I keep on applying. And every year it was back to back disappointment, rejection. Though I graduated with second class upper degree, and my friends will tell me, you are this kind of person that you volunteer a lot, you bring us opportunity. I'm this kind of person that whenever I see opportunity, I just see it. I want to volunteer, I want to serve, I want to engage. So I was building that aspect of my career. Like there was a professional aspect going on, there was a service going on, there was a leadership project going on. So I know I need to build other areas. So alongside when I was getting the rejection, I take feedbacks, I go back to the drawing board and see what I can do better. Funny enough, I was not looking at Mastercard Foundation Scholarship at all. It was never a go-to scholarship for me because I had this mindset that it is shorter, you'll be dragged back home. So I was like, I'm not going for Mastercard Foundation Scholarship. So when other people were getting it, I was like, no, I was looking at Erasmus 2 years, I was looking at Commonwealth, doing a lot behind the scenes. So last year, I submitted 6 applications. That 2024, I stopped working. I stopped volunteering. I was just like, this is my year. So I put all my eggs in those 6 baskets. That okay, I'll apply to this scholarship, and I believe that okay, I'll get it. When the last rejection came, I don't even want to talk about it. I said I'm not applying to any scholarship again. But something changed in October. I was just going through my gadget and I came across Mastercard UBC and I was like, come, all this years I've not applied for this Mastercard. Won't you just give it a try? I told myself that I'm not doing anything to try again. I'm not even doing it again. Like I'm tired. I was like, just apply now. I just like, okay, let me just do this. I didn't even tell all my friends I was even applying for any scholarship that year. So it was just my one egg in a basket, and I was like, oh God. So when they even moved me to the second stage, I was like, okay, these people are just joking with me. I wasn't even expecting anything until I got to the third stage, and I was like, I got the offer. I was like, is this for real? So at the point in this journey, I knew that consistency and not giving up goes a long way. Because at the point I was so tired and I had other things to do. I'm married. I had other things to channel my energy to. I was like, okay, this is what I want, and I keep on leaning to this direction. I was not just consistent, I was also building alongside, trying to sharpen my skills, trying to put myself in that market. And I just thank God for the grace and the opportunity. Finally, it pays off. Like this whole sacrifice pays off. Thank you.
That's inspiring to hear. Like, don't give up. So, what were the different stages in your Mastercard application that you went through?
All right. The first stage was the application stage where you have to like show interest, like commit to Mastercard itself. Then once you pass through the stage, they'll send you an offer for your second round. So the round 2 is they'll give you a fee waiver whereby you apply to UBC itself. After applying to UBC, if you are being selected, they'll send you a round 3, which is the pre-recorded interview, and all of them have deadlines. So for the first round, you have to upload your reference letter, like I think 3 reference letter. But when you apply to UBC, you just need your professional emails for them to upload their reference letter themselves. Then the third stage, which is the interview stage, I think 3 minutes for each questions. Then the final stage, my own time, people said they called them, but mine was not a call. They actually messaged me and told me that, okay, we need to ask you a follow-up interview question. I was like, oh, what on this follow-up interview question again? And during the interview, they're like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how can you rate yourself? How can you rate your application? I was like, 10 over 10. Why did you rate yourself? Okay, congratulations. We are excited to like offer you scholarship. I think that's the 3 stages during the selection.
Thank you. Oh, wow. Your stages sort of differs from mine. And that's honestly one of the reasons I wanted you guys to come on because you're like 25 scholars. What happened last year? So we have like up-to-date info. Ayomide, I will go to you now. If there's anything, somebody left out while she was talking about the process, can you just and walk us through that. What was that like for you? Because I know you're in a different program too, right?
Okay, thank you. For me, the process basically is the same thing. It's just that our personal experience through the process might just have been very different. So the
Mm.
first stage, basically you submit. And while I was in that, honestly, I've applied to some schools earlier and just into some stages and just, dropping. But at that point, I made that resolution in my heart. I was going to apply to majorly three schools and their own Mastercards, and of which I was giving two of them major big focus. Right. So that was UBC and the other one. So, and which I applied to, and I was putting in all of my energy. But actually, I'm so used to, thank you for applying. And then, you have to just first paragraph is not the major message. The main message is in the
Yeah.
second paragraph. That is where you see we regret to, unfortunately. So honestly, I did not keep my hope too high in the first stage. But I put in, I think, all the effort I could. But when the first stage came, I was like, okay. And then the second stage, even when they said we should apply to school, I'm like, okay, I've still put in all my effort. But when it gets to the point of this pre-recorded stage, I'm like, oh God, now
Looks like I'm about to get it.
I was going to be rejected. I should have been rejected since. But nevertheless, actually, I think I was still open-minded because I think as we proceed, I will talk about that too. I was actually still open-minded. I think it can still happen too. Because you know how disheartening all of this process could be. You put in all your
Mm.
efforts and then you are being rejected. And sometimes when you are being rejected, it's not necessarily because you are bad. Sometimes it's
Mm.
just
Yeah.
because they have limited number of people they have to give and they just can't go beyond the quota they have for that year. And so sometimes you don't have to be too harsh on yourself. So I was not using that as an excuse to do below standard, but to also open my mind to all possibilities. And as God will have it, I got my scholarships. Glory to
Yeah,
God.
here. Oh my God, thank you for sharing. And I feel like you mentioned two key things, which sometimes can be hard to balance for intending scholars. How do you stay optimistic? How do you believe in yourself that you can get the scholarship? And at the same time, you are still open-minded, such that when you get the no, you're not heartbroken. Because sometimes
Mhm.
the rejection then discourages people from applying for other
Again,
opportunities, right? Yeah, so maintaining that middle point is what every intending scholar should have. You should be so confident in yourself and your abilities that I'm going to get this scholarship. I'm going to put in my best. I'm going to give it all it takes. But at the same time, the rejection comes, honestly, we move on. We just go apply for another one because we're not going to let that hold us back. Thank you for sharing that. Now we are going to go into the interview itself, and I will stay with you, Ayomide. What was the interview like? What was the structure like? Got an email. What did the email say?
okay, so the email kind of told us we are going to have a pre-recorded interview and they gave us all of the instructions to follow, and that would make me to say this, please, when you're applying to scholarships or doing any application, please always read the instructions because
Hmm.
in as much as all of the things we want to share today are going to be helpful, they do not replace the place of instruction. That's one beautiful thing about Mastercard. They will choke you with instruction. They will give you all of the guidelines you need and all of the things you have to do. So they gave us the instructions of what to do. So I just followed through all the things we asked to do. And we were told to test our mic before we start. Be sure your camera is good. Make sure you have, good lighting and all of that. Your laptop is well charged and that you have good network. That one suffered me. Oh. Actually, that time I had to leave where I was staying. I had to leave for two reasons. We are quite much in that compound, and people make noise. You can't predict when people are going to stop or continue making noise in the night or in the day. So I had to leave that place, go to a friend's place, and then when I got to his place to stay overnight, there was no light too, and my laptop was just on maybe 50%. And I cannot guarantee that my laptop will stay through for 1 hour or two. And funny enough, too, my laptop started, going off on its own. I'm like, what's happening? I was doing my internship at that time. The interview period was the time I was also preparing for my professional exam to become a dietitian. So I have to prepare for the interview and also prepare for my professional exam. It was during the same period of time. Network wanted to actually affect me, but thank God it did not happen. I had to quickly switch network at some point. But just make sure you are in a place that is comfortable, please. Even if you will not be selected, it should not be because of technical issue.
Yeah, thank you. Olatomide, what was the structure of the interview that you got?
It's just the same way Ayo described it. When I got the pre-recorded interview, I think January, and the 2 day, like the second day when I got the email, I said I'm doing this interview and let me just do it and let me forget that I've done the interview and move on with my life. I went online to check if there was any webinar on interview, maybe past scholars talked about the interview, and I did not see anyone. I was like, okay, I'll do the interview that same evening between 12 a.m. to like 2 a.m. People will be sleeping, there won't be noise. So I have Starlink at home. I'm not bothered about network. I have 2 computers. I'm not bothered about laptop. I have inverter, so I'm not even bothered about those ones at all. I was like, okay, I'll do the interview that day. Luckily, that's when I saw LKJ YouTube that okay, she will be hosting someone on the interview. I was like, okay, let me just wait, let them do this interview and let me see how it goes. So I watched the interview after they did the interview. The day I watched the interview, I had a meeting on my with my laptop. I was on video all through. I had a meeting till like 11 p.m. Then I was like, let me just dress and then jump on to interview. Then my laptop camera was not coming up. Like the camera was not coming up. And this I've clicked on start. Camera was not showing. Then I had to like go for the other laptop because I've already clicked on start on my own laptop before I can move to the other one. It was so disorganized. Like I was already down. The first 2 questions, I was just saying nonsense because I was already scattered. I was like, okay, let me just do it. My internet connection was good actually, even up because of the camera. Then what I did again, I dressed corporate. Like I wore suits. I put like the brooch, like I dressed corporate. The light was steady, the internet was good. But it was just the little glitch that actually disturbed my mindset before even doing the interview. So during the interview, don't even think, okay, your battery is 100%. Still think something might happen to your laptop. Look for option B. Don't just rely on what you have because had it been I don't have on that laptop or a backup system, like what will I do? Will I just go without the camera and all that?
Thank you for sharing. And that's also another method in itself. If you've done everything you can do, like you then log in and something went wrong, don't fidget. Don't because of that lose up and say, okay, if I'm not gonna get the scholarship and that's the
My
end.
village people have got
Exactly. Just calm down, take a breather, and see ways you can maneuver and still do your interview because this happens to the best of us, right? You wouldn't have thought that your camera wouldn't work, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the questions that you think people should prepare for. And I'll start with you, Olatomide. Some of the questions or one of the questions I think people should prepare for this interview.
All right. The first thing I would like to say is this interview is just like a continuation of your application. So at the point what you started on your essay and your second round, please be consistent. So even though you are telling a story in between, you should relate it to what you wrote in your essay because I think they are looking at consistency. You might tell them, okay, you volunteered for agro business during your SOP, then you come back on your interview and maybe you're trying to do an example, you just leave the agro business and you go to another organization that you don't even mention in your essay. So I think that consistency matters. So a question that most times comes up and they actually look into is, we know now the world is around sustainability and they want to see how sustainable you can be it your leadership experience, be it your team, how sustainable you can be as a person. So one question that I think reflected during my own time, it might change depending on how their questions for this year might be, was what is the most pressing issue in your country and how will your intended program or your course of study solve this issue? So first and foremost, you have already done all these things in your essay. What you just have to do is now tell your story. No one tell your story as you. They just want to see the they're looking at your confidence. They're looking at how you can pass your knowledge and your experience. And thirdly, they're looking at your consistency, like I mentioned. So like what I did was I spoke about deforestation. I'm going for sustainable forest management, and you can't talk about sustainable forest management or an issue in Nigeria without talking about deforestation. And when I talk about deforestation, you're bringing in climate change, and climate change is a global issue. We have sustainability. So what I did was I rephrased the question to get my confidence. Rephrasing a question helps you to like understand, okay, this is what they said. What is the most pressing issue? I understand. Like, what is the most pressing issue in your country, and what would your intended program of study solve this issue? The first thing I did was, okay, the most pressing issue or the most difficult issue I could think about that is happening in my country is deforestation. And this has resulted to climate change and has affected sustainability. I rephrased it and I gave this is what it's doing. Then the second minute, I talked a bit about deforestation, how it affects human beings, how people depend on the forest for cooking. I talked a bit about it. Then in conclusion, I brought the last part of the question. That studying Masters of Sustainable Forest Management in UBC will help me to look at more technological way of handling this issue back in my country. So just like having a head, a body, and a tail, like when you're writing a formal letter, when you have the head, the body, and the tail. So I think that was actually what worked for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. Yes, your essays and your interview should not contradict each other because that's how they know if that essay was originally yours or if
Mhm.
it was someone else. Ayomide, can you answer that same question?
Yes, that is a question I would advise everyone to at least prepare for. And when I say prepare for, I want to believe for it to get to this stage, the problem is not the answer for you. You definitely have the answer, at least for you to have gotten to this
Oh,
Yeah.
stage. It is now about how are you going to structure it within the time limit that you have. Because please remind me, Olatomide, I think we're giving 2 to 3 minutes or
3 minutes,
something
yeah. 3 minutes max per question.
max per question. You have the opportunity to answer, I think, the first 3 questions or first 2 questions. You have 3 options. And then there was one, the last one, I think you can answer that one twice. But you want to be very, very careful. Because just to give a reflection again, when I answered my first question, I thought it was not good enough, so I tried to answer again. And the network was bad for my hand. Actually, I continued thinking my first question was not uploaded. It was later I eventually saw something that made me know that, oh, it was actually uploaded. So I'm saying if the first time you answer it, you think it's not, cool enough, you can answer your question. But make
Yeah.
sure you are very careful. You don't go beyond the limits that you are given. And you want to make sure you've prepared your answer in a 3 minute answer. Like I said, you have answers to this thing, but can you answer it within 2 minutes? Can you answer it within 3 minutes? And for me, when I started, when I answered the question, I had to make sure I had to have the statistics at that time that are related to the problem I wanted to solve. I don't remember the exact statistics then, but because I'm definitely still in the field, so I know the current statistics. Like 40% of the food produce we have in Nigeria are
mm,
lost and are wasted, and about 30% of the deaths that happens in Nigeria are actually related to nutrition, non-communicable diseases, and these are diseases that are very correlated to nutrition. And then I was actually talking more about hunger. And then so you can start and build up that point of
mm,
statistics. Then first draw them into this problem. Be very passionate about it. It is true that problem is not the only problem that is happening in the world, but let it show that that is the problem you as a person you are committed to. And then from there I talked about how the program I'm about to study, which is definitely food science, is going to help me. And I mentioned all of the courses we're going to do, like food law, ASIP, and all of that. And I have a background in nutrition and dietetics. And like, imagine combining the knowledge of nutrition and dietetics with food science, I have the knowledge of it from the health perspective, and now I'm also having the knowledge of it from the food science perspective. And I could contribute to the quota of, improving our food system. This is not exactly what I was saying, but I'm just trying to like build the structure of
Mhm.
how it was actually answered. And then from there, I went to talk about what I've been doing in our diet line for the past 6 years, what we've been doing, and then I went to Foodimetric. Why I feel there is need to actually integrate technology to solving these nutrition and these food related problems in Nigeria and all of that. So it's your story. It's just about you
Yeah.
incorporating your own reality into the structure. But first and foremost, establish the problem. Let somebody hear the problem and know that there is problem. If you have a personal story to tell, you can. But don't tell personal story and ignore the place of objective statistics, because when you
Mhm.
give a personal story, that is subjective, that is
Mhm.
your experience. It might just be only you facing the
Yeah.
problem. But you can tell the story and say
Mhm.
that this is also the same thing, like, maybe 20 million Nigerians are also facing on a daily basis. Now, you do us from your personal experience to a problem that is actually well established. And for example, for mine, if the problem is not being tackled in the next by 2030, 63% of Nigerians are going to go hungry and all of that,
Mhm.
then tell us why you have to solve it and why you want to solve it. Yes.
Mhm. Amazing. Oh wow. So to do your research, and like I love stats a lot. Maybe because I'm an economist, I use data a lot. I just love numbers. When I see numbers, it tells me that the person that is either writing or speaking knows what they are saying. And then the other thing we're talking about is take the problem first, which is why I like the top-down Mackenzie style of doing interviews, because basically you are starting off with your main points and then you go down and expand on it. So that way, whoever is listening to that interview is not trying to think, okay, what is she trying to say? What is the problem in everything she's saying? They see it off the bat and just really helps them. Thank you for sharing. I will move to Olatomide. What is another question that you think they should prepare for or that you were asked, and how did you answer it?
All right. I think another question that they will want to ask is they are bringing you to UBC. They want to say how you can contribute to the community, be it
Mm,
UBC community and Mastercard Foundation community. So this is a very tricky question. This is where you have to talk about your technical and leadership skills, probably mostly your soft skills. During my time, I used a lot of story because I think I'm a storyteller. I love telling stories. I was able to like, okay, in Talk Climate Africa, this is what I've been doing. I've been working with diverse set of people, and collaboration has always been a key. Like, I give an example whereby in a place whereby I know that they need someone that is an agri expert, and I'm not that expert, I reach out to my friend. I even mention my friend's name. I was so detailed, like I reach out to my friend who can come in. That is how collaboration can build up something. And coming to UBC, coming to be a Mastercard Foundation Scholar, I hope to bring this part of me. I hope to like collaborate with people. I hope to like collaborate people. I hope to go out there, engage people, and like, share my knowledge and to build up the community. I think that question is very key. Mastercard can bring you to UBC and then you don't have anything to give back. One of their core this thing is giving back. I think that question have to reflect the giving back aspect of you. So what are you giving back? Are you contributing to the community? So I just feel this is a place whereby you sell yourself. You sell yourself that okay, this is me,
for
this is what
sure.
I do, and this is how I can collaborate with my peers, I can engage with them. If it's time to collaborate, we'll collaborate. If it's time to share my knowledge, if it's time to engage with communities,
Mhm.
fine, just sell yourself. Basically, that's just the point in this question. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. And that is important because as much as Mastercard wants you to come and study, they also want to bring like-minded people together. They also want to bring people who would sharpen others, professional-wise, academic-wise. So you have to be able to
Yeah.
offer something to your peers and to the community. So
Yes.
thank
Yeah.
you. Ayomide, what other question do you think people should be preparing for, and how did you answer that question.
Okay, another one will be also related to what Olatomide said. And she actually said something when she was answering the first one, which I had to pen down so I can also build on it. And after talking about all of this experience from the technical standpoint, there is also the place of talking about yourself from a person standpoint, from you being a person. Right? It's not just from the bookworm parts, but also your personality as a person. And there are questions that may come in that food. For example, like the one she said. And another question could also come. It might not just even be limited to Mastercard alone, but why are you even applying to UBC?
Mm,
Why are you applying to Mastercard? Right?
Yeah.
And so for that one, you want to start first by showing that you actually know, depending on whichever way it is. It could be why you're applying to UBC, it could be why you're applying to Mastercard, and they might join it together. I don't know. So if it is why you're applying to UBC, for example, you want to talk about what UBC is all about. For example, now, University of British Columbia, I think that time when I was actually preparing, it was like the 38th ranking globally, and it was one of the top 3 university in Canada. Currently, we are the second. Okay.
yay.
And so you want to mention that. And for example, 30% of the master students are international students. So that will give me an opportunity to meet with people from different part of the world. And which definitely I'm saying here, like a lot of people from different part of the world. In fact, I think this is like an international cultural center to just meet different people from different part of the world. So I talked about that, and I talked about how I look forward to having an experience of connecting, interacting with different people, understanding how different people see life and all of that, and looking forward to partnership. And if the question is towards Mastercard, for example, you want to talk about the core values of Mastercard. So
Mm,
Mastercard, for example, it's very keen on you have to be young, you're a transformative leader, and
Yeah.
you have this giving back mentality. And so you have that thing you actually want to give back to the community. So you talk about Mastercard in a way that they know, yes. And that's like a build up. Now show that it perfectly aligns with who you are and what you've been
Yeah.
doing. Then you can talk briefly about some of the things you might have done. And then it also aligns with your professional goal or personal goal, what you want to do in the future. For example, for me, one of the things I said that I would be willing to actually do is if I could collaborate with someone, for example, which I've actually been trying to look for someone like that, someone who has blockchain knowledge, because there is this solution I'm thinking of to incorporate into Foodimetric, but not now, but maybe in the future. I discussed it, right? And I'm looking forward to joining a community where I can meet people like that. And when I got to UBC, one of the first society I was looking for, entrepreneurship club and actors, because I know that is where I can see people like that. And I also spoke with people, Innovation UBC, and I also spoke with even some scholars among us that I know we have some, aligning thoughts about some solutions. So you just want to like be very real about what your plans are and say it. Yeah, this is why I actually want to be there. And for example, you can also talk about the beautiful weather of Vancouver. Yes, it is something you would even say online that the weather, and this is one of the pride of Vancouver.
yeah, 100%. And I feel like you just saying all of that, even the person who's going to be reviewing your submission eventually would see the alignment, right? From everything you're saying, they'll be like, oh, this is the kind of candidate that we want for the program because the kind of things that you're interested in, all those different people that you would like to collaborate and work with, aligns really well with Mastercard's mission and
Mm-hmm.
what they want their scholars to do. And I guess that's why you're here. Anyways,
Yeah, and please also to say to that, for example, and please when you want to answer something like this too, make sure for every Mastercard in different schools, they have their theme, they have their area of focus. And that is why, for example, when I
Yeah.
wanted to apply to Mastercard, as much as Mastercard is in partnership with many schools, for me, there were like 3 major schools I could apply to because of the area of focus. And when it comes to UBC, Mastercard in UBC is very big on sustainability. UBC in Mastercard is very big on forestry, very big on agricultural things and all of that. So you want to show that and explain that. You want to talk about sustainability. You want to talk about your passion for these things. Most likely you are passionate about this thing, but don't assume they know, right? Say it, because it's worth more than so many other things you might spend your time on.
Exactly. Thank you for highlighting that. Let's take another question. I'll stay with you. Another question and how you answered it.
Okay, another question I also prepared for, because I actually prepared for a lot of questions. I did not eventually see the question that way. I can't remember the exact way the question came, but it was actually helpful in answering it. Was what will you do if you are not selected? Right? So that was one of the things I prepared. Well, like I said, when I even started, I said that I have to prepare for that question because I know anything can happen. They can serve somebody breakfast again. And so you want to explain that it's not as if you've put all your life on Mastercard. Like without Mastercard, Mastercard is coming to take away all the problems of your life. Mastercard basically is to speed up your growth, is to speed up your energy, to give you that sharp light into the future, that your dream is valid and all of that, right? So, and you want to communicate that if you actually get Mastercard scholarship, you'll be grateful because it's going to help you in X, Y, and Z. But if not, I will keep applying. At least I've applied for. Mention your track record of application you might have, the ones you might have done, the ones you've gotten, how they've helped you. Even when you've gotten some of rejection, you still keep moving on. So if Mastercard does not accept you, you're still going to keep moving and also continue again. And I think that is actually a question that should be answered very sincerely and genuinely, because even after getting this Mastercard, there are still many other applications you will still put out there that you still get no, even after getting this. So no is like an answer we get quite more number of time than yeses. So you want to really show that you understand that no is painful, but it's also part of life.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's the question that tests your tenacity. And
Yes.
Mastercard is all about that because you've already asked you a question about that in your essay. The first question, tell us about the time that you faced a difficult situation. Blah. So they are coming to then ask you in an interview saying, okay, what if Mastercard is now the difficult situation that you face this phase of your life? What will you do? So if in that essay you had shown that you were tenacious, and then in this interview you are now saying, my life will end though. It's not correlating.
If you don't accept me, that is all about me. Please, can I also add one thing? Yes,
Yes,
and
please.
want to make sure when you're answering something like that, if it comes to you, you want to have it well balanced. You don't also want to sound so nonchalant, right? As though getting it is not going to be helpful. So it will be good to also highlight how it's actually going to help you, how it can facilitate, meeting with mentors, meeting with possible people to collaborate with, exposing you to, a global perspective of this problem. How are they solving this problem in developed country, and how to translate that to the problems you want to solve back home and all of that. These are the things I hope to see. But nevertheless, right, if it doesn't come, I will keep. That is where I'm going, and I believe Mastercard is a route that could actually give me that life. But that life, I would make sure I keep aiming for it because that's what I want for myself, right? Yes.
100%. Thank you for that balance. Because if you say I don't need Mastercard, then they're not going to need.
Haha.
Okay, I'll move to Olatomide. What would be another question that you think people should prepare for, and how did you answer that question?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to chip in what AY said, but at the end, he actually said my mind because even though they won't even though they don't give you the scholarship, you make them know that that does not stop you from doing what you have been doing. That actually showed the attribute of a leader, because as a leader, you just move ahead and forge ahead and look at other opportunities. Then for another question that he asked during the round one, I think about AI, usage of AI. I know a lot of people are using AI to do things. And in UBC, even notice that if you are using AI, you should be able to reference AI. Depending on what you did with your application, be so conscious about how you answer your question. Fine, AI has been helping people and people have been doing a lot about AI. But as a researcher or as someone that wants to study in a prestigious institution, you should also research on your own. I believe for you to come this far, you did a lot of work. You did a lot of things. So aside using AI, you can also tell them that probably you did, probably you did not. You should also be able to explain the fact that you, as a graduate student, you are looking towards the graduate student aspect. You're able to do your research because if you can't do your research by yourself, how can you do your assignments? How can you do your presentation? How can you stand out as a student? So make them see this potential in you that, okay, I can do this with or without AI. Fine, AI can actually assist me in a positive way, not showing that, okay, I depend on it, but okay, as a graduate student, I know that I need to be a researcher, I need to do this, I need to do that. AI just complements me, or this is what this is my major strength, this is my major weakness. I think that's a question that might come up because a lot of questions about did you use AI, did you do that, did you do this? So you just need to be very careful and be very strategic with answering the question.
Thank you for sharing that. That's definitely a question I think they'll be asked because they were asked when they were writing the essays, right? So there's another probability
Yeah.
that would come up.
Yeah.
What would be your final interview tips for anybody watching that is about to take the interview?
If you are answering your question, number one, they want to see the confidence.
Mm,
The fine is a pre-recorded interview, nobody's watching you. Just do you. Be free. I think before you even go for the interview, if you are this kind of person that is scared, you can on your camera, do 3 minutes, do 1 minute, do this constant practice because nobody's watching you. It's just you and your camera and them asking you a question. So try to be familiar with your camera. Try to be confident. You appear fine, appear professional. Even though it's normal for you to like bridge like along the line, but at least be able to flow.
Yeah.
Try to speak your thoughts and try to do things. So it won't be as if you are scared. Then another thing is, please don't go past the 3 minutes. The timer will help you. Once you're in 2 minutes, you're looking at the timer. So at least with the timer, you should be able to like walk around that 3 minutes because once you go beyond 3 minutes, the issue is you won't finish your statement. And once you start a statement without a conclusion, it's very hard for them to get a meaning to that statement. Like towards the end, you are trying to say, okay, this is why you should select me. Like the first question, we talk about the problem, we talk about like what AI said, the statistic. So towards the end, you are rounding up and showing, okay, this is why I'm a best candidate. And if you don't have that opportunity, you won't be able to sell yourself. So in anything you are saying, please, 3 minutes. And another thing is, I'm a fast speaker. Please, if you are doing your interview, calm down. No one is rushing you. Just calm down. You know it's 3 minutes, but at least, even if you be a fast speaker, be transparent enough. Let people know what you're saying. I think those are the things I would just like chip in that people should be careful about. Then your light should be bright. Then your face, at least, even though it's not that bright, your face should be seen in the camera. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. I will go to Ayomide now. So what are your final interview tips for intending scholars?
Okay. I would also like to talk about the timing. They gave us 3 minutes. They might be more benevolent to you and give you 4 minutes. And they might give you 2 minutes. So you want to make sure you actually prepare very well according to the time you are given. They said AI is one other question you want to also prepare for, and you want to make sure you answer honestly and carefully because you can see they're actually quite big on it this year because they even asked during the essay.
The first round.
Yes, and they might also ask again during this time and answer the question based on how the question comes to you. For example, do you use it for this interview process? If you don't, declare you don't, and which I would not advise you to actually do to use AI during interview process because using AI during interview process could be, Except if you're able to clarify what you mean by that, because the impression it will be could be like you are cheating. It could be as we're having, imagine we're having a call now, and maybe I have another AI that is beside me. I'm trying to like pick
Yeah.
up the answer and things. I know even how sophisticated life is. Maybe we even trained your voice with an AI that is even the one answering for you. And you don't, I'm just, anyways, maybe that might not be, but I'm just saying. So you want to make sure if that is something you are saying yes to, you're actually explaining what it is. And if it is that you are asked for your essay question, if you use AI, make sure you answer that too, carefully and honestly. Also, make sure you read the guideline on how they want you to use AI. If it is something that is actually stated during your application process, read your instruction well and make sure you follow that. They might tell you the extent to which you can use AI. They might tell you if they do not expect you to use AI at all. Yes, there are stages they might tell you they did not expect you to use AI, be yourself, and all of that. And if you used the likes of Grammarly, Keyboard for grammar checker, and all of those things, and you want to say that, I think those ones are like normal general thing to make your grammatical structure well. And yeah, it just be you, right? Don't let AI own you. Don't come and start be sounding robotic. You understand? So, also while preparing for the interview, please be very confident, appear confident. Maybe people are watching you or not. You never can even tell. People might be there live watching you as you are doing it, and they are seeing you as everything is happening. So, and it might be that they are be watching you later. I don't know exactly how the process works, but it can be any of the two. So, in fact, may I prepared as though I'm going in front of certain number of people and they are interviewing me, and they just choose not to show their face.
All right. I also like to chip in your background. Like if you can look for a plain background, please. So go corporate. Your background should be plain. Your sound check should be. You can actually check all those things. Your camera, your sound check, and see how it goes before starting your interview.
Thank you. Very helpful. Because these little things sometimes they're the things that will make your interview not go really well. There is a Wi-Fi speed checker or an internet checker.
Yeah, fast.com.
I checked that in like when
You can use fast.com.
1 week before my interview, I was just checking to be like, I mean, like few days before rather, I was just checking to be sure, is MTN better? Is it Blue I'm going to use? Is it Airtel?
I will drop the link in the description for people who are wanting to check how fast their internet is. And yes, just assume somebody else is at the other end of the screen because somebody's going to be reviewing it anyways. Yeah, so why not just assume the person is
No,
already there?
like I heard that someone was saying that I was seeing people's reaction, the way you jump up, the way you do this in the camera, like.
So see, just
Because
assume somebody is there and have a conversation with that person and be your genuine self.
Mm-hmm.
I think you are going for a normal physical interview.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. Thank you so much to both of you. This has been really good, and I'm sure intending scholars will be so grateful that you came on here to share your wealth of experience and just tips that would help people. Lastly, where can people find you? Because we want them to be able to go find you, go follow you. I will start with Ayomide.
Okay. I think the most obvious place to like find me and who is the place where I'm most visible is on LinkedIn. Abi? Yeah, Ayomide Ademola. And to make it more obvious, can put Ayomide Miracle Ademola or put Ayomide Ademola our direct line or Foodimetric. Anything I would just. But Ayomide Ademola is actually fine. It should bring me out. Yes, you can find me there.
All right, thank you. So yes, go follow Ayomide on LinkedIn. Olatomide.
Same platform. I think I'm even more visible there than WhatsApp.
Honestly.
Oh yeah, I see your post. True.
If you message me on LinkedIn, I'll answer you before I answer your WhatsApp.
I-
So you can just follow me on LinkedIn, which is Olatomide Ojajune. I think yeah, you can follow me on
Thank
LinkedIn.
you. So yes, go follow Olatomide on LinkedIn as well. So finally, what is that one message that you want everybody listening to you to remember? Olatomide, over to you.
My first message, two message actually. First one, don't give up. this scholarship journey is a journey. So people actually get it at the first instance. But whether you get it at the first instance or not, I'm convinced that you actually put a lot to like get it. So it's a journey. Don't give up. Always be positive. It works out, does not work out. That does not stop you from pursuing it. Then, secondly, be consistent. If you are doing something, if you are volunteering for an organization, please do it. If you are not consistent, like what AY mentioned, when he got here, he was trying to look for clubs that can actually build him up. If you are not consistent with the way this program is, it now is passion that actually directs you, because looking at the rigorous aspect of the program, you need to be like passionate and consistent to do things. So you just need to be consistent and passionate. So I think don't give up, be consistent what you do. Because even at the point whereby you are just tired, these two things actually push you beyond Mastercard or beyond the scholarship or beyond the master's program. I have things to do. So those are just my tips.
Great, because it is intense, like you said. 100%. Thank you. Ayomide, over to you.
Okay, for me, I would say after putting in all your effort and everything you are doing, be prayerful. Pray.
Yeah.
Especially if you believe in prayer, pray. If you don't, maybe you might want to consider it this time. Pray just to support whatever physical effort you have been doing as well. And another thing I would also like to use to encourage everyone is that, like Olatomide said, don't give up. Keep pushing, whatever it is, whether you get it or not. Don't lose your focus on what the true purpose of your life is, whether you get it or not. So, for example, if you don't get it, don't say because you don't get it, you are stopping. And if you get it, don't say because you've gotten it, I'm here already. That is the end of it. Be very genuine. Be very, very genuine. For example, I've been volunteering. It was even when I wanted to apply for Mastercard. I have to start, gathering my stats together. That was when I realized I've been volunteering for like 10 years. I did not know. It was not as if maybe me starting to volunteer, I was doing it with the intention of so that I will have profile to apply for scholarship. It was just me being me,
You.
right? So, and even after getting what you want, like Olatomide said, it's going to be very intensive. And what will keep your fire burning? What will make you, for example, Olatomide is still into climate change and all of that. Encourage you to still give time for your startup or for that which you've always been doing, despite how rigorous your program is. Sometimes I will ask Olatomide, she will say they've gone into the bush. The forest and all of those things. So it's also rigorous with that way. So don't let the success or failure, don't let it take your eyes away from your purpose.
This is such a very deep and, very inspiring conversation. And I just want to say thank you again to both of you. Not only for saying yes to coming to share your story, but saying yes and coming here and making sure that you are pouring out as much. You guys were actually very genuine with this conversation. And that would help a lot of aspiring scholars. So thank you. Thank you so much. And a huge thank you for all that you do as well. All of the community service, doing all of the volunteerism that you're still doing, your different co-founding work, the ones that you founded yourself, just the amazing work that both of you are immersing yourself into. Even though I know that this whole program is intense, so I say thank you. Thank you for coming. This was fun. And yes, I will see you next time.
Thank you
Thank
for
you for
having
the
us.
invitation. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Welcome. You're welcome.